Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to the channel. You know it's a boy and making, and today I'm going to be giving you part 29 of what if Naruto went with Itachi. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out what if Naruto was the next sage of Sixth Path. I post a new episode on my second channel, so go ahead and enjoy. And yeah, I'm gonna be posting what if Naruto was taken by the right Kage after this, so remember to stay in tune and enjoy the what if coming your way. And if you haven't yet, and this is the first time you hear my voice, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click that red subscribe button, new viewer, and thank you for all of your help and your support. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Start the intro. You can change. You satisfy the rage in me. Take away my pain. You satisfy the rage in me. Do a bit of a recap. The last time Sakura, Sasuke, Kisame, and Itachi went on a mission, Sakura was knocked down by one of the bandits because they were overwhelming and too much. As she was captured, suddenly someone flashed into view in front of her as she noticed the whisker marks on his cheeks. As she could tell, it was Naruto. He's finally back. As she also saw him carrying a little girl, as she wondered who was that little girl, and a lot of questions need to be answered. So they finished their mission and destroy all of the bandits, and now it's time for them to head back to Konoha. So let's start this new episode, and guys, switch across to the playlist and enjoy. Sakura sighed as they made their way home. Naruto joined them as soon as they left the village. Now they were only a half hour away from Konoha. Naruto has been silent since he has been walking with them. Sakura thought it was because of Itachi was there, and there was still some bad blood between him and Naruto. But she just has to wait and hear the whole story. But she was just happy to be with Naruto. Naruto then gave Sakura the little girl as he ran into the forest without saying a word, as Itachi went after him. What was that about? Sakura asked, as Kisame and Sasuke raised their eyebrow as they wait for the both of them. With Naruto, he ran into the forest as he started to cough violently. Itachi was watching him the whole time. After Naruto finished coughing, he wiped his hand on his pants as Itachi could smell and see the blood. He walked up to Naruto and crossed his arms on his chest. "Naruto, what is going on?" Itachi asked as he looked at Naruto, as both of them were on the same eye level now. Naruto looked at him as he glared at him as he began to walk by Itachi. Itachi moved right back in front of him, not allowing him to pass. Naruto growled in annoyance as he went to walk by again, but Itachi stepped in the way again. "None of your business," said Naruto, as he bent his knees and jumped into a nearby tree. But he was stopped, and he was slammed back into the ground by Itachi. Naruto looked back up at Itachi. "Naruto, explain why you're coughing up blood," said Itachi, as he said it in a demanding tone. Naruto got up and tried to punch Itachi, but Itachi grabbed his fist and flung him into a tree. "Why are you so weak? You used to be strong. What happened?" Itachi asked. Naruto got up and spit right into his face. Itachi got angry as he wiped the spit off of his cheek and looked at Naruto. "I want to help," said Itachi. Naruto growled as he stood up, as he then smirked. A poof of smoke covered him, and when the smoke cleared, Naruto was gone. Itachi sighed as he headed back to the group. Knowing Naruto, he was already there. Back with the group, Sakura glanced at Naruto and Itachi all the way home and straight towards the Hokage Tower, neither of them looking at each other. Naruto held on to the child again as they headed toward the Hokage building. They then went inside of Tsunade's office as her eyes nearly popped out as it landed on Naruto. Naruto already knew what was coming as he handed the child over to Sakura as Tsunade rushed up to him and grabbed him in a vice grip, squeezing him and hugging him tightly. But something was wrong. Naruto turned blue instantly. Why was he turning blue? He was the demon Ninetail after all. He should have a lot of power and strength. No simple hug can put him in that condition, Sakura thought as she narrowed her eyes. After she let go, he reverted back to normal, as Sakura handed back the child over to him. I'm glad that you returned, brat, but I never thought that you were really alive, even when Sakura told us 3 years ago that she saw you. I just assumed that someone made off with your body when we found this tombstone destroyed, said Tsunade as she looked him over with a glare. He chuckled as he replied to that. I kind of blew it up while getting out. I didn't really have that much control over my power at the time, said Naruto as he looked at Tsunade. Tsunade glared but nodded after a minute, as she then turned to the team. So, mission report and then you can go, she said. But Naruto, you will stay and explain what's been going on though, she said again. Itachi then spoke up as he tells Tsunade everything that happened on the mission, and they found the bandits and got rid of them and saved the women's and the children's. After everything was done explained, Tsunade dismissed them all, but only Kisame and Itachi left, while Sasuke and Sakura stand on opposite side of Naruto. She sighed but smiled as she knew that the two wouldn't leave him behind. I reckon that you two want to stay, that's fine, but do not interrupt, Tsunade said as she then shifted towards Naruto. As she saw the bundle in his arm, bring the child over here, Naruto. I want to check her over, said Tsunade. Naruto nodded as he carried the still sleeping girl over to Tsunade. As she checked her over, her hair was a dark red and traveled down her back with spikes. Her eyes were closed, so she didn't see the eye color. Her skin was tan and she wore a simple red shirt with black pants and ninja shoes. Tsunade looked down at Naruto, who was smiling at the child. Who is she, Naruto? Tsunade asked. Where did she come from? And please don't tell me that she's yours, said Tsunade as she watched Naruto's reaction change at the last question. His eyes widened and he started to fidget a bit, as he then looked at Sakura, who had fury all over her face. Naruto looked back at her as he shook his head back and front. No, Tsunade, she's not mine. She's my cousin, little girl. Tsunade looked stunned for a second as she watched Naruto glance at Sakura, who was calming down. It turns out that I had one more relative alive, but she died though a couple months back. She had a disease and it ate away at her. I took the child under my care, Naruto said as Tsunade nodded as she looked down at the child in her arms. Her name is Yuki. Tsunade smiled as she nodded. She then turned to Naruto and put a serious look on her face. Alright, big shot, where have you been the last few years? Naruto nodded as he put on a secret look as well. I was traveling around, also trying to find Orochimaru's hideout. I found several of them and destroyed them all, trying to make sure that no one else used them, since the snake is already dead by paying ants, said Naruto. Tsunade nodded as she continued on. Why did you leave in the first place? Are you going to stay and become a ninja of Konoha again? And what exactly have you been up to lately? Gaara said that you came by the Sand Village and asked him about something, she said in one breath. Naruto took in everything. I left because I turned into the new Kyuubi Kitsune after my supposed death, Naruto stated. Tsunade's eyes widened as he said that, as he then continued. I need to get control over the power I had at the moment. I had no idea how to control it at all. But yes, I will stay in Konoha and become a ninja once again. As for why I stopped in the sand, I went around to all the Jinchuriki for the last 3 years and gave them all a choice, said Naruto, as his face became blank again. Tsunade waited as she wanted to hear what he was going to say. I am going to give all vessels a chance to become a new bijuu, said Naruto. Tsunade didn't know what to say because she didn't understand. What the hell was he talking about? I know that it's hard to believe, but the old bijoos are becoming tired of living. And since I have become the new Kyuubi, they have come to me through their vessels. And only 2 of them has chosen the path. Only Gaara and Killer Bee have become new bijous, said Naruto as he walked to Tsunade and took away the child and cradled her gently. What the hell, Naruto? You have got to be kidding me, said Tsunade as she looked around hoping that this was some kind of joke. Naruto shook his head. No, I am not joking. I also need to find 6 more people to become the new bijous. I have a few more in mind, Naruto said as he looked over at Sasuke and Sakura. Tsunade looked over at them as well and began to shake her head to no. What the hell are you thinking? You can't just make people bijous. You have to choose carefully and ask them to see if they want to be bijous in the first place, Tsunade said as she glared at Naruto. Naruto nodded his head as he looked back. Well, said Naruto, Roshi has already given up his bijou, and Yuki is now the 4-tailed Jinchuriki, Naruto said as he looked down at Yuki in his arms, with a smile on his face. But I sealed away the power, so she can only use it when she's 20, so she can age and grow into her human chakra as well. Tsunade looked at the child. She couldn't believe that she was a bijou. She looked so normal and innocent. Naruto, what have you done? Said Tsunade as she stood up and walked in front of him glaring. What the hell is wrong with you? You shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have taken away the chance of this girl living a normal life. Are you going to send her in the same life that you had? Tsunade ranted as she poked Naruto angrily in the head. Naruto narrowed his eyes as they turned crimson and slitted, as he growled in a demonic voice as the demonic chakra surrounded him. What are you saying, Tsunade? He said as he was now covered in the demonic cloak. As Tsunade backed away slowly. Are you saying that I should live by myself and suffer without some sort of bond? Naruto said as he walked over to the couch and put the child on it, as his eyes had hatred and sorrow in them, as Tsunade had no idea what was going on, but she had a feeling that she was going to find out. You think that I would let her suffer by herself till she got treated so badly that she decided to run away from the village? And besides, Tsunade, no one will know what she is besides the other bijous and you and me. No one else is to know what is going on. I am not going to let her suffer the same way I did. There is no way I'm going to do that to her, Naruto said as he turned and left the room, picking Yuki up on the way. Tsunade sat in her desk as she couldn't believe it. Naruto had just left the office with a small child, and he told her in hidden meaning that he would kill her if she ever told anyone about the child condition. She then fell back against her seat and rubbed her forehead. This is just going to become more complicated, Tsunade said as she turned and looked through the window. It was now night as Naruto was jumping from roof to roof as he had Yuki in his arms, wrapped her up so she wouldn't be cold. Suddenly, Itachi and Kisame landed in front of him as Naruto's eyes went slitted and his hair started to went spiky up. As he looked at Itachi, "What do you want?" he said. "Naruto, come stay with us for a while. I live in the Uchiha district with Hana. Kisame live there as well. You can stay there until you find a place of your own," Itachi said. "What do you really want, Itachi? You cannot just want me to live with you. There is something else, isn't there?" Naruto asked as he looked at the two. Up to this point, he still didn't trust Itachi after the betrayal. Itachi shook his head while Kisame laughed. "Come on, brat, why can't you just let go of it already? He had no choice. He was only doing it all to protect you. That is why he had to get rid of you," Kisame said as he laughed. But Itachi stayed quiet. "But he's serious about that offer, kid. Take it and let's head on home for now. You and the kid need a decent place to live for now, and I'm sure you're hungry. And I am sure that you want to ask us something important," said Kisame. Naruto nodded his head as he moved forward, following behind Kisame as Itachi followed behind Naruto. They traveled in silence as they headed to the Uchiha compound. As they finally made it to the Uchiha compound, they walked in, and as they did, Itachi got tackled by a flying brown blur. "Itachi, you're home, finally!" Hana yelled as she began to smother Itachi on the floor. as they were all entangled. "I got great news for you, dear, and you won't believe it either," she yelled. Kisame shook his head and signaled for Naruto to follow him. Naruto did, and he led him upstairs to an extra bedroom. "You can sleep in here, and it was meant for you anyways. I knew that you would be back, so you can stay in here. I even got Yuki an extra bed in here," said Kisame as the both of them stepped inside. Naruto stepped inside as he smiled. It was a nice forest green, 2 beds, a closet. All in all, with the comfort, it was a mix and match room. Not that Naruto cared. "Well, Kisame, I hope you never become a home designer," Naruto said, as he walked over to the smaller bed and placed Yuki down. After that, he placed her down gently in the bed and covered her up. Once that was done, he turned around to see Kisame blushing in anger. "Hey, I was trying to fix up the room, alright? You told me not to make Itachi know that you were coming back, so I did this all on my own." He defended himself as he turned and walked out of the room. Naruto shook his head and followed him out. "Kisame, I am sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings," he said dramatically as he tackled him down to the ground. Kisame grinned as he knocked Naruto aside. But Naruto fell back too hard as he hit his head, and it then cut the same time as blood started to leak out. "Damn it," said Kisame as he ran over to Naruto. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I am sorry," he said, as he knew that he shouldn't be roughhousing with Naruto in his current condition. "It's fine," Naruto said as he went to the bathroom. As Kisame followed behind him, as Naruto got a towel and put on the wound, as he told Kisame to get the first aid kit, and Kisame did as was told. Back with Itachi, he was sitting in a chair, running his hand through his hair, as he couldn't believe the news that he just gotten, as now Hana was cooking. It was unbelievable. They weren't even married yet. How was he going to tell people? As he sighed, as he just remembered what Hana told him. As he was smiling, even though she wouldn't be able to go on missions. "What the hell are you smiling about?" said Naruto as he come downstairs. Itachi turned as he saw Naruto with bandage over his left ear. As he saw, it was stained with a bit of blood. His eyes narrowed as he replayed that incident in the woods earlier. "What happened to you?" Itachi asked as he watched Naruto head towards the kitchen. "Me and Kisame was just roughhousing, and I got slammed into the wall. It will heal soon enough," he said as he went to the kitchen and then came out with a glass of milk in his hand. "So, what were you smiling about?" Naruto asked. Itachi shook his head in amusement. Even though Naruto was mad at him, he was still the curious boy he had been back then. "I got the greatest news from Hana today, and she's making a feast, so Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi can come and hear the news, along with Kiba and Tatsumi Inuzaka, and their canine partners as well," Itachi said as he looked over to the kitchen, where he could hear Hana humming. Naruto then took a big gulp of milk, as Itachi then spoke, making Naruto spew milk all over the place, as Itachi then smiled. After an hour, Naruto sat at a large dinner table, where Team 7 sat with Kisame, Itachi, Hana, Kiba, and Tatsumi, as Yuki was sitting next to Naruto as she was using chopsticks trying to eat. Naruto reached over as he plucked a piece of Yuki's fish as he then eat it. "You better hurry up and eat, Yuki, before I eat your meal as well." Yuki's eyes widened as she currently was listening to Kakashi, who was sitting across from her, as she was learning how to use her chopsticks properly and eat her food faster, as Naruto looked down at her and smiled. Back when she just found out that her mother had died, Naruto couldn't get her to eat anything. It took months for her to keep anything down or to even eat a full meal, but now she was digging in. Naruto's eyes widened though, as he got that tickling sensation in his throat again, as he then got up and excused himself to go to the restroom. When he left the room, they all watched with wide eyes, as they know that something was indeed wrong. Naruto made it to the bathroom as he shut the door as he went over to the toilet and started to cough as blood started to leak out of his mouth. He coughed a few times as blood dripped out of his mouth. He then spit afterwards, and then collapsed against the wall. His hands were shaking and his eyes were dilating slightly. It was getting harder and harder to hold on to himself, and he didn't have much time left. He still had to pick out the new bijous to take the old ones. Kisame would be one for sure, as for Sasuke and Sakura. Kakashi as well, and maybe, he thought, Itachi. Gaara and Killer Bee both have their old ones, and Yuki was a new four-tail. She was already showing signs of being the holder by her eyes at times, as Naruto knew that he only had to last until he had to give away the power. He then coughed again as he rushed back over to the toilet as he puked up some more blood. What the hell, Naruto? Naruto glanced out the side of his eyes as he saw Itachi open and close the door and then locked it. Naruto groaned as he coughed up some more blood and leaned back against the wall. As he wiped away the side of his mouth, he knew that he wasn't last much longer. He knew he wouldn't. Naruto, what is going on with you? Itachi asked. You're coughing up blood and you're weaker than before. Should I go and get Tsunade? She will know what's wrong with you, said Itachi as he moved closer to Naruto. Naruto growled though as he pushed Itachi away weakly. No, he said as his voice was hoarse, and he couldn't believe that Itachi was able to hear him. How low he spoke. He coughed and cleared his voice as he spoke again. No, she wouldn't be able to do anything. I know what's happening, he said. I don't have time for this, he muttered out. He then tried to stand up, but he just fell back down to the ground. What do you mean nothing can be done? Itachi asked. Something obviously can be done if you're weak like this. You're practically human again, almost like a civilian, Itachi said as he moved to get a wash rag and soaked it. He then wiped Naruto's face down with it as Naruto sat against the wall again. Naruto didn't have much strength, so he just stood there as he was too weak to move. There is nothing she can do, Itachi, Naruto said as he looked up at Itachi. She cannot heal what has already been destroyed. But guys, I'm going to be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends on your social media platform. And go ahead and check out my second channel, Anime King 2, and enjoy all the lovely what ifs that are coming your way. I'm going to be leaving a link in top of the description, so enjoy. But I'm out for now. Peace.